We are here talking Justin Fields with First Things First, Nick Wright and the gang. I can't wait to see which Batman villain Nick Wright looks like in this video. Justin Fields is in a bad spot. The Bears are in a bad spot, TBH. And it's unique because Justin Fields has everything that people like to latch on to a quarterback that when they think they're making that leap, right? They can run, they're young, good arm strength, drafted high, went to a prestigious school, was good in college. All those things that usually add up for the media saying, yep, this is the year. It's time for that second year leap. He's going to be a superstar. We saw it this offseason. We saw people saying Justin Fields would be an MVP candidate. We saw people say on major networks with 4 letters in their acronym, say that Justin Fields would play at an MVP level this year. Justin Fields, along with horrific play so far, Fields is now kind of in the doghouse for his comments with his coaches. Fields said that he had an interview where he said that his robotic play is kind of due to play calling, it's due to his offensive coaches, the scheme, and they need to, basically he said they need to let him play instead of trying to tell him what to do. Not good, right? Not good. So let's go ahead and listen to the brain trust over at First Things First and break this whole thing down in Chicago.
Justin Fields had 2 rough outings at press conference today where he said he was playing too robotic, needs to get back to playing like himself, and also had some blunt words about Chicago's coaching. He did clarify these statements.
Okay, let's see what's going on here. A lot of text on the screen. Fields spoke for a minute in the locker room to clarify his comments made earlier today. I'm not blaming anything on the coaches. I'm never going to blame anything on the coaches, never going to blame anything on my teammates. I will take every... wait. This might be his apology. Okay, yeah, this is his apology. So he walked it back. So he had his comments that we just mentioned, and then he walked those comments back with this. So as good as it is to see this, right, he still made the comments.
And the buck stops with him. I need to play better, point blank. That's it.
Can I... Go ahead, Wilds. I'm sorry.
No, you take it. Take it away.
Well, I think when he says taken out of context on Twitter, if people were just writing when Justin Fields asked, what's leading to his play, quote, coaching.
Oh, okay.
And so I think the full
I only saw the full.
I will say Nicholas's hair is luscious. A lot of volume in that hair today. This is one of the better manes of hair I've seen in a long time. This might be the best mane I've seen since Kenny, if you know what I'm saying.
The full clip is obviously not out of context, but if it's just, and you saw, I don't think he was trying to throw anyone under the bus, even if he was actually, almost by definition, throwing people under the bus.
It felt like he was being honest.
It felt like he was being honest about what he thinks he's dealing with.
truth-telling.
And listen, Fields has looked terrible. There's no denying it, and he hasn't looked at all like Justin Fields. They haven't called quarterback-driven runs. He's not throwing the ball deep.
All right, so this is where, and really what I wanted to talk about was Fields' performance, Fields' play, and then the perception of Fields in the media compared to maybe even his own team. The Justin Fields is in a very unique situation where he's currently playing for a front office who didn't draft him. The front office, he's not their guy, right? So when you see young quarterbacks like Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, C.J. Stroud, they're protected usually. C.J. Stroud threw the ball 65 times the first week, but Bryce Young is being protected. The front office has they want their asset to look as good as possible, to make them look as good as possible, and they want to protect them on the field. Justin Fields' ownership group, front office group, however you want to phrase it, they don't have that incentive. They don't have that at all. There was talk that they were going to get off of Fields and go with Bryce Young or go with whoever they thought with the first overall pick. So that protection window isn't there. So it kind of looks like to me that the front office, and they're not setting him up for failure, but they're just taking away that security blanket. They're basically saying, go out there and play. Like, go out there and be good. We're not going to protect you. We're not going to save you. We're not going to hold your hand through the process. Go out there. And that is tough, no doubt about it. But the part that I think is misconstrued narrative-wise is this kind of talk of he hasn't been good in 2 games. He hasn't been good now. He hasn't been good to start the season. Let's take a look at some data. So this is from Peter Bukowski on Twitter. This is era adjusted career ELO. If you don't know what that is, the Nate Silver website was at 585. They created ELO. They created this, which is kind of it's a formula that basically charts a quarterback's efficiency and how good they have been in their career, and it weights the different eras. So Y.A. Tittle gets weighted to match up with like Patrick Mahomes because they played in different times, obviously. Like Troy Aikman's 27 touchdowns in a season is not 27 touchdowns in today's era. You know, like if you got to kind of weight it. So that's what this is. So what he's showing here is that no quarterback has ever been as bad ELO-wise as Justin Fields for this long and then became a star. And when I say star, remember, guys, we're talking about data. So when I say be a star or really good, there's a data trend. So the data trend has to go up. If you look at Fields down here, I'll kind of move a little bit. You'll see a lot of like Josh Allen started off bad. Look at Josh Allen's. Look at it. He goes straight down, right? He goes straight down. Then he kind of goes sideways, then up a little bit. But eventually, after about 40-something games, you can see that he takes off. And even before that, he was ahead of Fields. Same with Hurts. Same with Lamar Jackson. But Fields, he goes straight down, down again, and now we're up, but we're going back down, right? So the data is showing he has been bad his entire career. Then if you look at his deep metrics, so this is for last season. If we go to passing productivity, you can see yards 26th, air yards 23rd, money throws 29th. You can see up here, pass attempts 27th, red zone attempts 28th, pass plays per game 32. Now you may say, well, that's the Bears, right? That's the Bears' problem. The Bears, but then you go to efficiency. His accuracy rating, 25th. True completion percentage, 32nd. Deep ball completion percentage, 22nd. Pressured completion percentage, 24th. Play action completion percentage, 33rd. Like these are clean pocket completion percentage. So this is another one where if you don't look at the deep metrics, if you just say, well, he's getting pressured a lot or the pocket is collapsing. When you look at this shows you when he has a clean pocket, when he is fully protected, he's 27th in completion percentage, right? You look at all this is bad. Receiver yards after catch per target, 37th. If we go a little further to advanced accuracy, deep ball accuracy, 16th. Under pressure accuracy, 20th. Clean pocket again, 23rd. Pressured catchable pass rate, 31st. Catchable pass rate, okay? His catchable pass rate is 42nd. Or 46th, excuse me. I think I was 45th. I think I might have been 45th in catchable pass rate. It's hard to even get data on 46 people. And then when it goes into man versus zone versus man, 31st, which makes sense. If you're not accurate with the ball, you're not going to be good against man. And then rushing obviously is really good. Second, first, like I mean he's really really good in that aspect. So if you look at that, right, and that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to pile on Justin Fields here, but I think this is what happens when young quarterbacks start early, is that they're expected to be really good, lead their team, and they're expected to make a jump immediately. They're expected to take a huge leap. To look at those analytics and to say anybody is going to turn those analytics around in one off season to go from that, the 46th ranked accurate passer on whatever the stat was, to an MVP level candidate, it's irresponsible. It's irresponsible journalism. At best, if he took a big jump forward, he'd probably go from where he's at now to probably an average quarterback.
Deep, and he's taking an extra second on almost everything. Now, as you guys know, one of my hobbies is listening to local sports talk radio around the country. The speculation as of this morning in Chicago is that what's happening is Luke Getsy, the offensive coordinator, is calling in the play and then giving advice. So calling in the play and then like, oh, and watch out for the safety. He likes, I don't know what they would say, but watch out for the safety or watch out for this. And that's what he's alluding to. Does that ever happen?
Yes.
Okay.
Can't stand it. I can't stand.
Okay, so does that look like it's what's happening? And explain.
A couple things. Like I understand what Justin Fields is saying, because if that is what's happening there in Chicago, I've experienced that. And Norv Turner, I love him. Great offensive coordinator for years in this league. But when Teddy Bridgewater got drafted by the Minnesota Vikings, it happened every single play. He was telling them what to look out for, who to throw, who he possibly can have on this play.
And to be fair, that does sound like it'd be bad. And it sounds like that would make a quarterback second guess himself or to play robotic and to look at certain things, hold the ball for too long. So, no doubt about it. And that could be part of this too. That's why I talked about the ownership group of the front office. Part of this could be that Fields just does not match up with the coaches. He just does not match up with the scheme. He doesn't match up with Eberflus or whatever the front office is wanting to do, wherever the Bears want to go. If I was a betting man, I would bet that's where we're headed. We're headed towards Chicago and Fields parting ways. We're headed towards they're just kind of being agree to disagree. Coaches don't fit. Quarterback doesn't fit. Scheme doesn't fit. Let's go a different direction. That's what I think is going to end up happening. And it's just part of it. All right, it's just part of the situation. So I certainly think that this does have an effect on what's going on. Another stat I saw today, I wanted to pass by y'all. When Justin Fields' opponent, the other team, scores more than 20 points, he is 0-18 against that team. That's wild. Think about that. That's nuts. If the opposing team, think about in today's NFL, if the opposing team scores 20 points, that's it. They've always won. That's why. That is, when I saw that stat, I was like, damn, that is rough. I remember Lamar Jackson had a stat for a while it was something like if he's down more than 10 points at any point in the game, he was like, oh, and whatever. And that was because of the style of that offense. It was so hard to come back from because they were such a run-heavy based offense. Obviously, now they pass the ball a lot more. That stat changed. That stat's old history. But those stats do tell a good story. And that stat tells you that the Bears have trouble putting together points and scoring points.
And it was the worst because naturally what you start to do as a quarterback is you don't think for yourself. It's like being a parent and trying to tell your kid to watch out for every little mishap. They don't then make their own mistakes because they're making the mistakes that you want them to make. And thus, they're going to make that mistake. It's going to frustrate you and them. And then when you finally decide, let them do what they do, they're going to make their own mistake. And it's going to prolong the problem. That's what we're seeing with Justin Fields. Now, I will also say this. I've been watching the tape.
Not good.
And the coaching tape. And it ain't just all on the coaching. I don't care what they're telling you to do. I've never seen a great player or a player that believes that they are great or they have a special and unique skill set become as robotic as I've seen Justin Fields. There has to be something that clicks within him that says, skip what you're saying in my ear, I gotta go ball. Because it's allowing me or it's prohibiting me from being special. Even last year, when he didn't have as much experience, he didn't look like this.
No.
We weren't saying.
See what I'm talking about? He did. He certainly did. We broke down the data. Now, last year, he was running way more. This year, for some reason, they've gotten away from the run. I don't know why we should do that. We had a video covering that, why certain teams get away from runs. It happened to Josh Allen, happened to Lamar Jackson. Look, let the players play. Justin Fields has to run. At this point, run him. Run him as much as possible. That is how he's going to be good. And that's how he was good last year. How do we know that? We just looked at the data. All metrics were ass, except the rushing. Rushing was absolutely elite. Let him run. He's got to run. If the Bears don't let him run, if the Bears don't call design runs and let him move around, it's not going to be pretty.
These types of things. He's going in reverse, and that's problematic. And if I'm Justin Fields, what he said at the end of that presser, I got to just say, skip it and go ball, if that means you got to rely on those legs, obviously it benefits you. Do that. But you can't just say that the coaches aren't helping in when you want to, because at times on that film, several occasions, he's not getting all the way through his progressions, and he's missing wide open guys, and he's missing the guys that are coming over wide openly hot, or when you look at pre-snap, you can assess that before you even get to.
And we know that's true because we know the completion percentage on open receivers and a clean pocket and man coverage. So we see all that. So my man right here has done the tape, no doubt about it, or watched the tape. He's done his research. He knows what's going on. That part's true. You know, you can't. I don't care how bad the coaching is. It doesn't make your clean pocket completion percentage the 46th ranked in the league.
The line of scrimmage, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly taking way too long to get rid of the ball.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think
he's
it's
got
like 4
10
seconds.
sacks. A lot of those are on him, all right, because he's waiting too long. And it's odd. This is his second year with the head coach and the OC. And so you think he'd be more comfortable. Look, I don't think he seems like a good kid. I don't think he meant to throw the coaches overboard or even make an excuse. It certainly comes off like that.
Another thing that big media seems to forget, they always say the second year the quarterback takes a step because they're more comfortable, they're more experienced, they've been in the league longer. But what they seem to forget is that means there's now a full year of tape for these defensive coordinators. And it's a lot of the time it's their second game against these guys, third game against the divisional opponents. So all these defenses know you so much better. They know the skills so much better. They have the tape, they have the game plan. So usually I think it's kind of the opposite. I think the second year is hard for a quarterback because now the expectations are higher, but the difficulty is higher too because the defenses know what you want to do. The defenses are ready to shut you down.
But, you know, a lot of times you're young in the league and you don't even, I've seen it happen with coaches who are first-time head coaches. You don't know how the media is going to take your comments and whether it's twist them or just take them out of context or just take a small part of what you said and make it a big deal. So I think that's what happened here. But for future advice, what he needs to do is if you got a problem with the coaches, even doing what you said, like if they're whispering in his ear or something, you got to deal with the coaches on that. You don't put it out in the media. And so now do you have players in that locker room saying, dude is not getting it done, and now he's blaming the coaches? I mean, I don't know what this.
And what is true is that play he threw that pick on, they ran the exact same play 3 straight times. And you know what I mean? So there is some coaching issues there. And it's a tough spot. I mean, he's up against what some people are calling the new steel curtain.
No.
The Bears are also garbage. Like, the Bears are terrible. The Bears have been terrible. Again, they were the worst team in the NFL last year. They had the first overall pick until they traded it away. People forget that. The defense is porous at best, terrible. Chase Claypool and, you know, the whole thing is a mess. That's not even factoring in what's happening inside of the actual organization. So the Bears are in a horrible spot. They're one of those situations where best thing they could do is completely start over in every single facet. New head coach, new GM, new front office, new quarterback. Get as many picks as you can possibly can for everything. New seats in the arena, new everything. Just rip the carpet up, do some renovations, tear some wall down, fumigate the things, whatever. Whenever mold's creeping up, they put the tents up. Put the tent up, fumigate, get the mold out of there, get the whatever's going on, get it out, whole new coat of paint, whole new everything, move forward. Just like an old house or something, like demo it. That's what the Bears got to do. Now, let me say this about Fields. I thought Fields coming out of college was really good. I thought Fields was one of the better passers coming out of college. I thought his deep ball at Ohio State was really good. I probably would have considered him a top 3-ish pick. I would have picked him somewhere in there. I think Fields can be really good. I think he's got the skill set. He's got to get outside of the Chicago Bears front office. There's this group. They either need a different coach or a different style. I think Fields could be successful, but it's going to take a situation like a Trubisky where The Bears are going to punt on him. I think that's what's going to happen. And he'll have to land somewhere else and see if he can do it. But I think he can do it. What he has to do is he has to run the football. There's no doubt about that. He has to run. This is a controversial yet brave opinion. If Justin Fields was in Philadelphia, I think he could run that offense. I think he could do it. I think he could do it. He may not be as good as Jalen Hurts. He may not be as efficient. All those things may not be there. But I think he could do something like that. I think he'd be successful in a situation like that. I think if he had a coach, like if he was in Indianapolis and he had Steichen, who kind of was the architect of that offense, I think he'd be in better hands. So I think it's probably 70-30 Fields as far as part of the problem with the Bears offense, but that 30% is certainly on the scheme, the coaches, and all that stuff. Let me know in the comments below, guys. And this is my fantasy football quarterback, okay? Very expensive entry fee league, very high stakes, and I went with Justin Fields. So I'm a believer. I'm not a hater. I love the guy. I love him like a brother. I love him like my own flesh and blood, okay? So I don't want to hear any comments about, oh, you're just hating Fields, you hate the Bears, whatever. Whoa. Took him in like the 4th round, okay? No one wants Justin Fields to succeed more than me. I want Justin Fields to succeed more than the front office for the Bears do. All right? I don't want to hear any of that. I'm rooting for the guy. He's on my fantasy squad. He's the captain of my fantasy team. My team will go as far as Fields does. So get it figured out. But I want to hear from Bears fans. I want to hear from my people in Chicago. I want to hear what you think. Is it Fields? Is it the coaches? Is it the front office? Is it just the organization? Is the organization haunted? You know, we went back and talked about the structure like a house. Does it have mold? Is it haunted? Does it have water damage? Like, does it need to be demoed? What's going on? Let me know, Bears fans. What are you thinking? Is Fields the guy, or is it time to move on? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.